Hello, welcome. I'm going to just give a few moments for some people to come onto the chat. And oh my, I debated whether to even come live this evening. I missed last Friday during that Mars-Uranus conjunction. I had two powerful storms come through where I live and knocked the electricity out for several days, and lots of trees down and lots of damage done. Luckily, no damage done at my home. It did take several days for the power to come back on, and it was during a heat wave, so that was fun. Unexpected upheavals that you have no control over. So I just wanted to tap into this energy and get a feel for where we're at now as a collective. I know that after the Mars-Uranus conjunction with unexpected events, unexpected upheavals, eruptions, things just out of our control, then we had the second full moon in Capricorn, and that was really powerful. So we had two full moons in Capricorn back to back, sandwiched in by that really powerful new moon in Cancer, very emotional, very watery. So this second full moon in Capricorn really put a big spotlight, a highlight on the things that we've got to look at and let go of. Most of us, not all of us, but most of us, these were hidden, subconscious, or they may have been things, little quirks, beliefs, behaviors that we were aware of, but we weren't aware of how much it was affecting our energy. And the second full moon in Capricorn really was like, it's time to close this chapter. Before we do, we're going to then move the sun into Leo in opposition of Pluto. Oh, I forgot to mention Pluto being conjunct that last full moon in Capricorn. So Pluto is what I want to talk about. Pluto is the energy linked to us that brings us deep down into our darkness, into our inner world, underworld, into our inner psyche. And it is not fun. It is not enjoyable. It can be extremely humbling. For many of us, the events and energies and experiences that are designed to trigger us to go into the depths of ourselves are what I'm talking about not being fun. It is important to honor the feelings and go with the feelings. Hi, Martin. Greetings. Nice to catch you live from the beginning. Yes. Good to see you. It's been a whirlwind. And there was no way I was going live last Friday. I had no electricity, no internet. And actually, the internet here anyway has been going off and on because we've been getting hit by the sun, the solar activity. Hi, good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So Pluto, oh boy, after the conjunction with the full moon, which I was personally still camping in a heat wave, basically. I say camping because of no electricity. So there was a lot of uncomfortable, it was hot. There were also a lot of things that were brought to my attention, my inability to say no. Hello, Lisa. Good evening. This is my experience through the full moon, and the conjunct Pluto was showing me patterns, taking on too much, the inability to say no, and so many shadow, not so shadow aspects of me just rushed to the surface, and irritating, frustrating energies as well. So after that entire experience of a full week of just nonstop, uncontrollable events, uncontrollable energies, and a lot of old patterns, things coming up. Hi, Karen. A lot of old patterns coming up, recognizing them right away. And then there was like a slowdown briefly. I mean, real briefly, to the point where, yeah, it's been hardly so, I know. So after that big mad rush of like uncontrollable chaos and whatnot, it brought me back down to a quiet space. And oh, I will get back to you on the two sun theory. I've seen two suns too last year. I'm sorry, I'll get into that. I saw two suns last year and it blew my mind. I have pictures too. Yes, you have pictures. I promise they are not edited. No, I totally believe you. I didn't believe it, but I saw it. My wife also, early 6:30 a.m. Oh, you were totally believed. I've witnessed this with my very own eyes, and I took pictures as well. And oddly, nothing's odd to me anymore, but right after I took the pictures, I posted them on my Facebook, and my daughter-in-law sent me her picture. She saw it from 3 hours away. She's like, not where I'm at. So we like both connected at that exact same time where the two suns showed. And I did do a whole video on that last year about it, because there's a prophecy that came to me. It was before I saw the two suns. I was reading some article, and it was this prophecy on when humanity sees the two suns. That means some great, huge changes are occurring or about to occur on the planet. And of course, we're having those all the time. We're living, breathing experiences of all of that. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. I like it when these unusual things start to arise. And today alone, when I went, and I'll get back to the astrology, today alone I went on my hike, and the sky was just beaming. The thumbnail for this video is one of the pictures I took. Just auroras and rainbows throughout the clouds, and a giant ring around the sun, and it was just speaking to me. This energy was just really bringing me back into my natural energetic state, because Chiron stations retrograde. Yes, Chiron will be stationing retrograde. That's going to be healing for sure. Mercury is also in shadow to station retrograde soon, and I will get to that too, because honestly, when I turned on the camera to go live, suddenly my mind went blank. And that's fine. A lot of times I will channel anyway, but this is definitely not only Mercury in pre-shadow, but Mars in Gemini. It's just our minds can get so distracted, so easily distracted, just like this conversation I'm having now. I was before and now. So anyway, Sun, sorry. I didn't think you would answer. Thank you. You're the best. You're the best. Be safe and keep looking up. Always looking up. Always looking up. I've always been a sky watcher since I was a child. So let's go back to not only the full moon, the second full moon in Capricorn conjunct Pluto, and then the sun moved into Leo, opposing Pluto. So I felt a little bit of a break between the complete and utter chaos of Mars-Uranus conjunction, plus the complete and utter non-stop mirrors and reflections and showing me my old behaviors, my old patterns, codependency, can't say no, not wanting to let anybody down. And it was just poured onto me. And I'm like, all right, universe, I see it. I get it. And some of them I cannot say no to, like my grandson and stuff like that. But I did have to pick and choose like who I could like give my energy to, because I didn't have much at all after going almost a whole week without electricity, water, internet, in a heat wave. I mean, that was enough to just take me down. On top of having to dog sit a very sick dog for a few days, which I will be doing again next week. Okay, so there's that chaos, and this is just take it as it resonates for your experience. We go into the full moon, and it was showing me all those patterns. Then a little bit of a break, and I'm talking 2 days max of like a slow down. Well, actually, it didn't even feel like much of a break because I worked a psychic fair that weekend then, which was actually amazing. But I did a lot of readings and I met a lot of beautiful people. I could feel the energetics, and it was, I don't want to say heavy and dense, but I was tired, and everybody that I looked at seemed just really slow and tired. Maybe that was just a reflection of my energy at that time, but I felt very drained, very drained. By Monday of this week, still, I actually took off work. I was like, I can't. I need a day. I just need a day at home with my air conditioning back on and my cat. I just want a day of downtime. So I did take that day, and then it ended up being very productive because, again, the Mars energy, but I wasn't forcing myself into doing things. It was just, I woke up that morning. I feel like we're also getting a lot of physical energetic upgrades, because I woke up Monday morning. I had a little bit of a nosebleed, which is not, I don't normally get nosebleeds, but I thought, okay, go figure. And when I left to go run errands, I went to the bank and the grocery store. Everywhere I went, I could smell everything, but I could smell people. Not only did I smell like people's odors, but I smelled sickness. I smelled depression. I had that sensory experience of, I knew what was going on with the people, that strangers surrounding me. It was the strangest experience. I have had it before when all of my psychic senses turned on, but it was almost like things were turning back on again. And I'm like, no, I'd rather hear and see and feel. We can turn the smell part off. And it did turn off, but that was, anybody having those experiences, I would love to hear from you. Feel free to comment. It doesn't have to be the smell part, but maybe some of your intuitive senses or just your extrasensory senses were a little extra this week. So then come Monday evening, this one was for me, and this energy still lingers, so take it as it resonates. I was in a fine mood, and I got to have time with my grandson and everything. And the stupidest thing set me off, which is not, this is an old version of me. This is Pluto taking me back to the underworld of myself. I wanted to mow my grass, and the lawnmower wouldn't start. And I hadn't mowed it in 2 weeks because we had a heat wave, and then we had all this rain and these storms and trees down. And it got really long. I don't have a whole lot of grass, but I wanted to mow my grass, and the mower wouldn't start. And I got so frustrated. I tried fixing it. I tried doing all this stuff. And I tried to force it, basically. And I finally was just like, all right, fine. And suddenly it triggered all of these emotions in me. Anger, mostly. But it took me places, deeper places that had nothing to do with the lawnmower wanting to mow the grass or the lawnmower starting. It took me down a rabbit hole of deep old pain that I thought I had processed, worked through, and let go of. So if you guys are experiencing any of that, revisiting, the old inner ghosts, I don't like to call them demons, but they're pain points. They are, thank you. They are, yes, very odd things happening, but I understood them and actually accordingly, and which I was in awe of. Yeah, good. Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's like, I know what this is showing me. I know where this is taking me, yet it still hasn't been, it still wasn't easy. So for me, that was Monday night, and I just let it go. I allowed myself to feel the anger, feel the frustration, I just let it all come to the surface. And what came out, because I was alone, and this was at night, and I think I was just like lying down in my bed and just talking out loud and just letting it all come out. And it really took me places that had to do with like father wounds and mother wounds, places I didn't think that, so don't look at any of the frustration, anger, or anything else that might come up, or sadness. Loneliness is a big one. What was abandonment for some, shame for some. It's different for everybody, but they are just deeper layers of the same wounds that we have really been working on for a while now. That happened to me too with the last two. Yeah. And I know that I'm definitely not alone in that. From speaking with others and just like kind of reading in between the lines through social media and other things, I can see like those people that are connected to me, family, friends, others, are going places. And yeah, it's all past. A lot of childhood stuff. Even like, I had one friend that like was brought back to an old movie, The Never Ending Story, and this clip of when, if any of you have seen that movie, the never ending story, right? This clip where the boy is trying to get the horse to go through the swamp of sadness, and the horse absorbed the sadness and froze and couldn't move, and he was sinking, and the boy's like, come on, you're my best friend, I love you, you can't give in to the sadness, it's going to swallow you. Hey, we can't all be mechanics. You're in your element where you are. So then this movie is like trying to get the horse to like get out of the sadness, or it's going to get swallowed by the swamp of sadness. And he's like, I love you, you're my best friend. And then he's getting really upset, and he's like, stupid horse. And the horse just, the horse doesn't make it in the movie. If any of you have not seen it, I'm sorry for ruining that part for you. But it's a really sad part to a kid's movie. And my friend's like, I never understood why this scene was in a child's movie. It made me cry when I was a child. It made me cry now, and I can't stop crying. And it's just so, but it was bringing up something she needed to see, and she saw that. She's like, I will never look at this movie the same again, Had an elementary friend contact me last week. It's been 50 years since I talked to him. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't gotten really any yet. Blast from the past. I don't think I don't know. And again, Pluto's hitting different aspects of our charts for each and every one of us, for sure. I forget is that the horse's name? Spirit? It might be. I forget. But anyway, so like everybody's getting triggered in their own way to go back down deep into the inner psyche to retrieve things maybe that we thought we had moved on from or let go of. And a lot of them are childhood things, but they're linked to things that we're experiencing today as well. And so we have a little bit more Pluto energy to work through still, but it's lightening up a bit. Saturn has also been working with us to help us clear karmic cycles, karmic patterns, and that's not fun, but it's necessary, it's definitely necessary. So I wanted to come on just sort of like so we can support each other again through some of these more heavy duty energetics that we are all embarking on. Oh, so you guys are all very familiar with the movie. I mean, it's a good one. And then, reached out with this clip of the never ending story, my mind, my, I started hearing the song that never ends, that song that never ends from Lamb Chop. And it's like, how perfect is this for this energy that we are in right now? Because the intensity of the emotion, it's not really logical to what we're experiencing in the moment. Like, lawnmower won't start. That made no sense for me to have such a meltdown. And it took me somewhere that had nothing to do with a lawnmower. Same with my friend and the never ending story. So, universe finds interesting ways to get to us if we're not, some of us have a little bit of a tougher shell and don't get super emotionally charged by things. So whenever something really odd touches me in a certain way, like I know everything is meant to be speaking to me and helping me release, but I definitely instantly know, like there's no question about it. Like, oh, here's a karmic release. Okay, we are going into it. And here we go. We have hope with spiritual strength, or actually spiritual strength with hope. Spiritual strength, for those of you who don't know, this card is a card that speaks to us of we go through a lot. We go through a lot in the awakening journey. We go through a lot prior to the awakening journey. And then when we are ascending in frequency, ascending in consciousness, and realizing and putting in the work, consciously putting in the work to break ourselves free from all that had kept us stuck, kept us creating and manifesting things that, repetitive, looping experiences. And it's just like, it's not an easy journey at all. Hello, Atusa. It's not an easy journey at all. It is rewarding when it's like it's stair steps or rungs on the ladder. You got to do work to get to that next step. When you get to that next step, you get a bit of a break. And today I feel like I've had that break, that release. And when I went outside, the sky was just auroras and rain, like colors everywhere. And I'm like, I feel this again. And it's not that we feel disconnected. Sometimes we can disconnect ourselves when we're going through spiritual tests, spiritual challenges. But overall, for those of you who might still be struggling, hold hope, because nothing amazing and great does not come. Like everything amazing and great comes through the struggle. If we just kind of skirted through and got to the good stuff without the struggle, first of all, we wouldn't have learned, we wouldn't have all the releases that we would have, but also the appreciation. I know, like, now the me now has so much more appreciation for the little things that I did not even see when I was unconscious, when I was under amnesia, things that I couldn't feel or experience, So it's really important to not give up that hope, and to, when we're going through the struggles and the challenges and the spiritual tests, to keep that light on. It's in the heart. Our minds get so activated, and our energetic bodies get so activated. And if we've got certain thoughts, patterned old thoughts that are strong, and we attach, you've got electric and magnetic electric connection there. There's creation. There's your experience. So the more we realize that, the more we slow down also and pay attention to how we're feeling, pay attention to the thoughts or the narratives, the stories that's going on in the mind at every given moment, we take our power back. There's going to be times we're going to need some downtime, you know, and some people are still in that area. I literally was, and I still feel the waves. Trust me, I'm not out of the woods. None of us really are out of the woods altogether with this big wave, but we get little breaks. And when we get those little breaks, really appreciate it and connect even deeper to the light within, to the heart chakra. Anything worthwhile takes work. Yeah. I watched A Dog's Purpose during the week. Bawled my eyes out. See, good. That's a good release. Oh, so many things have been like really bringing tears to my eyes. But in a beautiful way, but also some, have been a little bit challenging for sure. It's definitely been emotional through this last full moon and all last week, emotion, and this, well, it's already Friday. See, I'm in a time lapse right now. I can't believe it's the end of July. I feel like I lost time in the last 2 weeks. So we're talking 2 weeks of a whirlwind. Hi, Taylor. Of a whirlwind of experiences and emotions and realizations. It's just like everything coming from everywhere in every possible way to tell us something, to help us release something, and it's as long as we're just surrendered and going with it, that's really the best way to do it. When we resist, when we fight back, when we don't want to experience or feel what we can't control anyway, is when we really start to cause ourselves more internal struggling. Hi, Patrick. You missed 2 days. Yeah, it's been a lot for sure. And it's been very wavy too. Up and down, up and down, up and down, energetically and emotionally, which I know it's kind of the same thing, but it's not, because you can really feel the energetics more now than ever before. Feeling the energies rushing through the body. I feel it right now rushing through the base of my occipital lobe, my crown chakra. And so it's important to, use any and all tools. Sometimes we forget. Sometimes we get lazy too on the journey, and we forget about the tools that we can use to help us along with the energetics when they get to be a bit intense, such as frequency, music even, binaural beats, different frequencies. Different things work for different people. Some people, crystals really work for. I mean, they help me. But now if I'm sort of out, if I'm in a certain layer of energy, crystals don't do a whole lot. But it's been a while since I've been like that. Scents, food, dancing, moving, move the body around, getting the energy out. Releasing, whether it's anger, whether it's sadness, whether it's joy and happiness. We can't look to one or the other. This is a good time to just go right down the middle, neutral, because we're here to neutralize these energies so that we don't attach too much to one or the other polarity. The energy is crazy. Yes, my head. No, I pulled my back out almost 2 weeks ago, pushing the car up the house to work on it. I'm still fucked. I think I need a chiro to realign. You might need a chiro. Now, yeah, doing things like that. Now, that sounds like something I would do. And I actually did throw my back out a little bit by lifting a lawnmower up onto another wall and then carrying my grandson around, who's like 50 pounds now. So I feel you. I was able to work out the kinks, but there was like a day or two I'm like, oh, I think that was Monday when I just took the whole day off work. Like, I just need a day. I just need a day. I hope you feel better. Do you have a heating pad? That always helps too. Salt baths. But chiropractors, if you got a good one, they certainly help as well. And, you know, other things like that, energy healing, Reiki, chiropractics, acupuncture, things to help move the energy through if we're not able to move it through ourselves, because it'll get stuck real quick in weak spots, especially in the spot, I can't talk today, especially in the parts of the body that we're actually purging a wounding. Now you have to really understand different parts of the body, and we're not going to go into that, but there are some good books out there and websites that can kind of direct you if you're having very specific pains and issues in a certain part of the body. Louise Hay has, I think Louise Hay has a website. There's a lot, and I had a book, I think it's just called Energy Healing. There's so many good resources out there to know if I'm already emotionally working on releasing a certain energy from my body. That's when you're going to feel it kind of extra. On the flip side, I have found how do we say? I have found that I've connected to an even deeper. Now, they're kind of showing me it's like it's ancestral, deeper cluster of guides that I have connected to off and on through the journey. But when I channel their messages, it comes from different star systems. There's a cluster. But now that we've been working with Sirius a lot of the Sirian energy has been coming through. It depends on where the energy is. I know I have definitely had a lot of Pleiadian energy come through in the past. It's been really beautiful and magical, that aspect. So for any of you that are connecting to guides, connecting to spirits, connecting to angels, this is a really good time to deepen that connection. Okay. Yep. Okay. So again, a reminder, we are going through another big pool of energetic purge. And this is big stuff. It's big, deep, buried stuff. Pluto energy, Pluto, the underworld. Now, another nice thing is that Venus is coming out of the underworld. So we're going to start to have a change in energy there. Energy is always changing. It's just that it's dramatically, Leo, we're in Leo season, it's dramatically changing. It's like one extreme to the other. It feels but we're very bipolar right now, I would say. Temptation. Picking up right off the bat, this is all of those areas of life, areas of ourselves that, you know how we have different parts. And I'm going back to just the devil and the angel on the shoulder, both talking to us. And when certain energies really take hold of us, especially if we're triggered, and we're not fully connecting. Sometimes the energy is so intense, it'll trigger us and pull us down. And then we have that voice that tells us, you know, just check out, just have a drink, just do, like, it's that temptation to go back into old patterns, right? There's nobody judging. Only you are judging yourself. But many of us are being put in a position now, this week and into next week, where we get the opportunity to re-experience or redo something again. And there's still going to be the temptation of falling back into an old pattern, an old narrative, an old behavior. Gossip is big. Blaming others. So it's interesting. Pay attention to what arises in you and how we react. We are given another chance to react and respond differently. Okay. I just keep getting messages. Sorry. And one of the biggest energies that is supporting us right now is the heart opening. We are feeling deeply, and we're also cracking open some more of the armor that has guarded our hearts. And with the heart opening more and more and more, and we're giving ourselves more love and more compassion. Now, if you're in denial or if you're in blame, you can't be in the heart. You can't be tapped into compassion. So these are kind of like the devil and angel on the shoulder. Your choice. Do you want to go and continue old pattern? Sometimes we tap it, we dip our toe into an old pattern. We're like, whoops, I see that. I choose love. That's fine. No one's judging you. Just know that this is the energy. Make it an energetic game. We have solitude at the bottom here. Many of us are finding that we need more time to ourselves. This is a good time for self-understanding, self-awareness, to sit with the self and maybe learn a little bit more. She's looking at a book. If you feel pulled or called to understand something deeper, like there are times where a word will pop into my awareness and I don't know what it means, but I feel this pull of like, look it up. And when I look it up, it takes me somewhere, and when it takes me somewhere, I want to learn more about it. So things like that, those are no coincidences. These are breadcrumb trails that we're given to assist us on our journey. In hermit mode, yeah. I've been enjoying hermit mode a lot, actually. The man I live with shot his 2 roommates in June. Oh my goodness. That's wow, that's a lot. The man you're in love with. Okay. You don't live with him, I hope. Trigger point therapy. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I lost it. See, there's that Mars and Gemini and Mercury going retrograde for me. It comes and it goes. But make sure you pay attention, because we get easily distracted, so easily. And there's already so much out there to easily distract us, right? But even if you're like, you get an intuitive hit to look up something and it takes you somewhere, but there's other distractions that might pull you. So it is this wild roller coaster ride into the fun house of mirrors with all kinds of scary, crazy clowns throughout it. So these mirrors are important, though, for us to understand ourselves and understand the energetics, how they're speaking to us, what life is talking to us through everything and everyone all the time, not in the literal sense. That's where we have to really tap into the truth of ourselves. And it is kind of almost like an Alice in Wonderland when you're in that mindset, but it is so profoundly important for self-understanding, self-awareness. So I cannot stress enough, reading up, looking up. It's very simple, the 7 Essene mirrors, and really studying them, and ask yourself, maybe print it out, ask yourself, how does this pertain to me in each and every mirror? How do I see myself? And you can take it to current experiences or past experiences. What is this showing me? You're going to get a deeper illumination of yourself. And it's so rewarding. Love these discussions. Thank you. I love them too. Make sure to drink a lot of water too, through these energetics. Not only does it help move the energy through and move stuck energy through, but solar activity, radiation, solar flares, CMEs, and geomagnetic storms the things, it really dehydrates the body from the inside. And so we really need to, I say this as I'm like thirsty. You might find that you're a lot more thirsty, but it's super, super important to just continue to keep yourself hydrated. Some people benefit from doing a water fast. I personally would have to be forced into a fast, which usually happens when I get like a stomach bug. Then I'm like, okay, but it's just not my cup of tea. I haven't really felt called to it yet, but I'm sure that when my body needs to fast, that's when I get, my grandson gives me a lovely stomach bug to contend with. And then I'm fasting. See how everything happens for a reason? We have the 10 of voices with spiritual strength. So again, these experiences that Spirit, Pluto, Saturn, to name a few, have been squeezing down, pressing down on us. There's pressure. There's emotional pressure to be released, being churned up. It's a lot. And if we're not releasing it, there's more things on the outside that will show up to trigger and help bring these things to the surface. It's bringing the mindset, the beliefs, the thoughts, the stories to an end. Some people may be going through a dark night of the soul. I do sense this. It is like we're in a 5-year period. We're almost halfway through a 5-year cycle of the dark night of the soul, like collective world soul. That happens to me too. My grandson is 7. So sometimes we have to kind of like drive ourselves mad and crazy, kind of like rock bottom for some. That suffering, that internal suffering creates a fire. It creates, there's nowhere else to go. I have got to change this. I can no longer be like this. This is that type of energy, just bringing people to a point where like you have a choice. Do you want to keep on struggling and suffering, or make a change, open up, release the old, let go? Something's coming to an end for each and every one of us. And it's a beautiful thing. It really is. We have a lot of help and support. It's not pleasant. There's the Tower. It's not pleasant to go through, but if you have the mindset of this is purifying me, this is actually helping me get to the next phase of my journey, the next stair step to ascending. I don't like to use the word ascending. The next stair step in our evolutionary journey. The Saturn experience. 2025 will be the year of the snake. Yeah. About Saturn. What did I just hear? Saturn. Saturn is at an angle or at a point right now where his rings are not visible or going to be that way soon. And there's something about the energetics of that that we're going to be experiencing. It's so hard when you're in it. I know. And the hits just keep coming. So when you come up for air, remind yourself, okay, we're going to probably go take another deep dive down soon. Don't like walk around life like bracing yourself. But once you have a big release, it almost is, it shakes us so much that it makes it so much easier to just keep releasing what no longer serves us. For me, it has been, there are parts within us that can control our mind from time to time. And those are the parts that need to come to the surface. Those are the parts that have limiting beliefs about ourselves, about our potential, about life, about our journey. Those are the parts that judge. Those are the parts that find ways to escape. Those are the parts that are really being hit hard for us. And it's actually, again, being in it, you can't really say that. I will say that. Being in it, you're just kind of like, fuck you, universe. I mean, seriously, do that. No judgment. They are not judging. They want the release, because we're doing this for all of us, for each other. We collectively have stored this crap in us. We were brought into this earth with these templates, these energetic templates that we're meant to release. We're meant to override. We're meant to change. And that's what's happening right now. It kind of in a nutshell. Where was I was going somewhere with the and Uranus. If we're not able to budge or move from a certain aspect that's really strongly holding on to a belief, a way of being, a pattern, Uranus energy will come in and move and make sure that we have no choice but to move, to change, to release, to let go of. And so don't fight it. Don't fight it. Because the more we fight it and resist it, that's causing us suffering. So journaling, or just like listening to yourself when we bitch and scream and cry and moan and just like, why? Pay attention to the story. Pay attention to the narrative. What part is it? Because through all of that, every single one of us has this. This is our true essence. There is a small, still voice within each and every one of us that remains calm. And it is right, I always feel mine right around the higher heart. It remains calm, and it actually will give good advice if you listen to it. But that is your true essence. These other parts that are coming out, and it's not fair, and what am I going to do, and and she's a bitch, and all these things, they are not you. They are not us. So we need to find that soul self, that true essence, that small, still voice inside. That is what we're getting to the core of. All the other parts, yes, we're familiar with them because they're part of us. They're part of all of us. We are these fractals, these fragments. Karen, I've spent 2 years setting my car up for camping, awning, solar panels, etc. Yesterday, I reversed into my garage door and smashed it all the top of my car. It hit hard. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, frustration, anger, defeat, the tower. Well, there's something, when we allow ourselves to go through these really ridiculous, rather painful experiences, and we allow ourselves to actually feel, but also see that small, still voice, that soul self inside, they want me to go back to it, is the neutral, is the part of us that neutralizes all of that. So again, instead of going one way or the other, oh, well, everything happens for a reason, toxic positivity, or fuck the world kind of thing. Listen to that neutral part within. Sorry for my language, it just kind of came up. The warrior, yes. Yep, glass splinters everywhere, but hey, I can go through the car wash now. I like that you have a sense of humor about it. That is very healthy. That's definitely down my lane. Once I get out all of the temper tantrums inside of me, I do find a way of like laughing somehow. eventually you get to like, wow. And wow, I saw who I become when I don't get my way, when things don't go my way. It's very interesting. But again, the tower fell below hope, so don't give up hope. Hold that light. It's a practice that we should try to put into play every day. Mindfulness. Gauge where we are. Do not deny emotions, moods, feelings. If you're moody, be moody. Don't pretend like you're not. If you're sad, be sad. If you're angry, be angry. Because it will go through a lot faster if we allow what is arising and wanting to come through, go through. And if you can, speak it out, write it out. You're going to go a little deeper into that. Like I said, my lawnmower was not my lawnmower. It ended up being like masculine wounds and father wounds. And, you know, because I was like, if I had a man here to fix the, you know, it was like it went somewhere. It took me where I would not have thought of it. That's actually not even my mentality. I'm very self-sufficient. But there was a part of me. There was a part of me that's linked to a father wound, that really, an inner child that needed to come out. And I needed to give that part of myself love. I needed to hear her and allow her to express. As we all do. We all do need to do that. Am I taking these? Okay. Okay. So we may be tempted. Resort to YouTube. We may be tempted to really fall deeply into old patterns or believe. Don't worry about the patterns. We're probably going to act them out. But don't believe the narrative. Instead, listen to it when it's done, when the energy blows through, like, wow, that's so crazy that I just even said that came out of me. Because it will reveal to you the true parts in you that had a story, is part of your energy. Hold your light. This is information. This is knowledge. The sun codes are coming in and giving us a big boost of inner awareness, inner knowledge. You're a very healthy person. Not always, but I try. I am mindful. But I have there's definitely no, I have my own vices and things that I still am aware of from time to time. And healthy? I guess I would consider myself a healthy person. Let me say very healthy. I don't know about that. I don't know. That's how I see myself. And again, that's an interesting reflection. Oh, do I actually consider myself a very healthy person? Yes and no. Yes, but I guess in comparison to others, see, I'm hearing myself now. In comparison to others who are healthier, I could be healthier. That's interesting. But I'm happy in my skin. I'm happy in my life. So let's get back to love begins. We race through these challenges. It's like a big tornado comes through and takes over our life, takes over our emotions, takes over our mental capacity to even regulate all these big these are big emotions too. When the energy finally settles down and slows down, it's important to keep that pace of a more slowed down pace, because there are a lot of nuggets of wisdom that will sometimes the tornado comes through. We're not really paying attention too much. There's too much emotion, too much thought, too much all this. But afterwards, there's a little bit of reflection. If you allow it, if you slow down, there's time to reflect. Where did I go? I was seeing red. What did I say out loud to myself? How did I treat myself? How did I treat others? All of those things. And there's nuggets of wisdom in there. This stuff that's getting churned on, that's what we're releasing. That's what's going away. And we've been here before, many of us on the journey, many, many times. Dark night of the soul, for example. For some, that lasts, for me, it lasted a few months. Some people, it can last longer. Other times, you can find yourself at a mini dark night of the soul where there's just a really dark mood one day. And suddenly you're just like, I am not in the mood for life or people or anything. None of this makes sense. Allow yourself to go through that. There's new insight, new perspective, new awareness, and it's wise, and it's really going to help us keep our heart open. Love begins. This is where all of the wisdom lies. This is where all the power lies. So we're working through a lot of the mind chatter, a lot of the belief systems, a lot of the thoughts, even thoughts you didn't think you believed are coming up to show you like, well, yeah, you kind of did. It's subconsciously. Subconsciously, you believed that wasn't going, like, nothing ever works for you. Just like say that as an example. Nothing ever works out for me. So why even bother? That kind of mentality. Now, there's other parts within us that are stronger that are like, no, that's bullshit. Anything's possible, and many things have worked out for me. This part in the subconscious is coming to the forefront for all of us. Blind spots. I'm teaching a class tomorrow. Any of you in Pennsylvania, in Chester County, Pennsylvania, send me a message or sign up. And maybe I'll start to do these classes remotely. I really wanted to do in-person classes though, so I'm enjoying them. You end up watching the tornado rather than stepping back and watching the storm. Yep. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what you do. What matters is after it's all said and done, what did you learn? What are you releasing? Because we're all here to clear these energetic templates that have been passed down to us by our family, by our parents and our caregivers and their generations before them. These are deep. These are really deep. Like the part in me that came up and said, if you just had a man in your life that could help you fix the mower, that is my mother. Not my mother to me, but that's her nagging voice that I picked up. Because I'm not going to go into her private, she might even be on here. But what I'm saying is this is so fragmented. And we just need to kind of let it show itself to us. Sorry, Mark. Sorry, I won't be able to make it. Oh, it's not that far away. And here's the answer. 3 of inspiration. As I was saying, when everything starts to fall, everything's going to fall into place and it will make much more sense. So try not to make sense of things if they don't. Because for each and every one of us, the energy is designed to resonate and make sense to us. What one person, another person outside of you interprets it for you, you're giving your power away. You're giving your little puzzle and your energetic game to somebody else to decipher, and that may be wrong. So it's really important that we kind of step back, don't try to make sense of everything, and let things kind of fall into place as they will, because they will. And they will make much more sense. We have the wheel below that, which is speaking of the karmic cycles that is coming to an end. This last Capricorn moon, we're still in that energy and still working with Pluto. And so we've got a lot that is still coming up and being released and being shown to us and helping us to level up, to have more wisdom, to be more conscious. We have the sun below that. Damn, I just typed out this whole thing, then found out I can't finish the message. Well, oh, you're a 29-degree Capricorn. Wow. How has your experience been through all this? So any of you who have 29 degrees, definitely Capricorn or Cancer. What else? Where's, yeah. You're getting hit hard because that last moon was 29 degrees Capricorn. And it was a doozy. It was a big one. I'm reflecting on the day of that moon. I was staying at my sister's dog sitting, and she had just gotten her power back on. So I was like happy to have a shower finally and air conditioning, and I turned on her TV and watched Hulu, which I don't have, and I got into this Handmaid's Tale show that really sucked me in big time. Patrick says, still in the middle, but there's so much. Yeah. Karen, you're a Capricorn. It's been a lot. And reflecting on that energy, Capricorn ruled by Saturn. I know for myself, it had a lot to do with responsibilities. What I was picking up, I was being responsible for a lot more than what I normally, for other people's property, dogs, children, other people's. I was doing the psychic fair, so I was responsible for doing the readings for people. There was a lot of extra responsibilities that I realized I was getting overwhelmed because I said yes to too much. That was my experience in it. My person's Neptune is 29 degrees Capricorn and his Venus at 2 degrees. Wow. I can imagine that those energies, and again, it's not a prison sentence. We all already, we knew what we were signing up for before we came onto the planet. We had our birth chart mapped out. We designed this, each and every one of us. So we have, again, that still small voice within knows all, does. So if you can get in touch with that part, if any of you have had experiences, I've had experiences where I've actually had 3 major car accidents when I was younger, and each one at impact, this still small voice in me, while I'm getting hit, pummeled, windshields blowing out, said, you're going to be okay, and kept me very calm. And I was okay for all 3. And if you looked at the cars, you wouldn't have believed that anybody would have survived them. It's crazy. That's what I'm talking about with everything else going on outside of you. If we attach and, something, we'll react, we'll let energetically attach, but this still small voice inside never does. Soul never gets attached. Soul never judges. So if you hear judgment going on inside, that's your internal critic. That is a part of you that you picked up from society, your parents, wherever. These things are all coming up for us to get to know all of us. He'll be getting a prison sentence though. Yeah, so I would think so if he shot some people. I'm not laughing at him or at the situation. That's very serious. That's a serious experience to go through. My heart goes out to everybody that has gone through that experience, including you. So back to the reading. Well, actually, the cards are just really reiterating exactly what I was just saying. So it's just channeling through here. Let's get into an oracle pull. I should have brought out Oh, okay. There's a message in here for us. And even being aware that there are people in our lives, people that we know, people that we love, that are on different legs of their journey and different levels of consciousness. And for those of us who can see what other people are going through and their struggle, we can't really get involved. I mean, unless they really, like, they ask a certain kind of way that resonates, but we can always, it's important that we not judge others at all. And that we really have compassion for every human being, because we are all brothers and sisters. We are all connected, and we're getting closer and closer to this, but as we do, we're trying to clear out these codes, these separation codes that we were all born with, but we also know it's not true. The outside world just reflects it back to us. It's operating on a, how do we say? It's like it's an electromagnetic experience, kind of like a game. This has been going on for ever and ever and ever and ever. So we got to clean it up. But the way we clean it up is we clean it up with our own stuff and not place judgment or, no, I'm not saying that you judge. This is just coming up. Not placing judgment or blame. We really want to clean up the energy. We want to clean up the energy for the earth, for humanity. And there's a small percentage of us. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take that. It doesn't take everybody on the planet. Not everybody on the planet is designed or is going to ascend or wake up. They're just not. It doesn't take that many of us. But those of us who are brave enough to weather the storm of the spiritual lessons and all of everything that we go through, which is very deep and very intense, and the energetics are very intense. We brave it and we go through it with honor because we came here to do this. Just that, basically, is to go through what we're going through and come out the other side connected to our heart more, giving the ability to give love, give compassion, both to ourselves and to others, to emanate this light that we all possess. Every human being possesses it. How each and every one of us hold it and shine it and express it outward is different. But it's changing. It's always changing. So know that that is the mission. That is the Starseed mission, basically. And with that said, I'm going to pull the Starseed Oracle cards out. Is to do exactly what we're doing. Keep clearing this energy. It's old. It's not doing us any favors, you know? I'm sorry, I'm like not reading all the comments. Because there's a lot of energy channeling through me right now. So I'm going to just stick to reading. And I'm really glad to see that there were no trolls or, you know, okay, beautiful. There were no people just coming in and saying nasty things or trying to play games. I'm happy about that. So we have choosing. It's always a choice. It's a choice for every one of us to choose victim consciousness or co-creator consciousness. And sometimes we are going to feel like a victim. Let yourself feel like a victim. We all have been victims, but eventually we have to break free. Ten of Swords, let that go and choose co-creator consciousness. Knowing that there is a bigger plan, a bigger reason, a higher perspective for everything that we experience. Yeah, good group. That's right. So we're going to get one last message for us all. And if you really allow it, this energy comes through really fast. It's like in and out. When we hold on to it, when we hold on to the story, and or the bitterness or the anger or the uncomfortable and the what ifs and what should I do and all those things, we're holding on to the energy. We are causing our own suffering. Certainly don't be a doormat. If somebody or something is doing some harm to you, you want to remove yourself from that. You got the love. Codependency, boundaries. Ooh, that's a big one for me. I always know when I'm being tested on my boundaries and my codependency patterns, but this last Pluto, this opposition, and the full moon even, I think it started the full moon, was a whole nother level. And it brought in people that I may have been judging and no longer have judgment, but we get attract to us what we judge, believe it or not. It just showed me at such a deep level that I need to, like, even when I would say no and have boundaries, I felt bad. And I couldn't let that go. And then I was like, why do I feel so bad? Because I don't want to let anybody down. I mean, it just went, it was ridiculous. And it just kept happening over and over and over again. I'm like, I get it. I get it. You got the love. You're a beacon of pure, divine, unconditional love who see people. Oh, wait, no. Hadarian. Hadarian? I don't know if I'm butchering this word. Hadarian energy. The Hadarian are believed to be beacons of pure, divine, unconditional love who see love in all people and situations. As a result, they can find it hard to have boundaried, interdependent, healthy relationships because they only see the unconditional nature of those they meet. The lovers of the cosmos, they dive in fast. They're here to learn how to love while in a separate body, to learn to love self first, and then establish healthy relationships with others. To remember that the love they seek is already within them, that they truly do have the love all on their own. The message of this card is to review the ways you may need to establish healthier boundaries. Perhaps you're in a codependent relationship in which you may be losing your sense of self. It's common for starseeds to dive deep into relationships, particularly with those who feel safe and familiar at a soul level. Perhaps you're in a relationship in which you give more than you receive. Or perhaps there's a certain volatility to it, and you're always unsure where you stand. This card is a sign to do a relationship review and see what energetic agreements you've made, consciously or unconsciously. To acknowledge if there are relationships in which you feel anxious or powerless, in which you don't feel like it's safe to relax and just be you. To assess if there are any places of inadequacy that you've used as a relationship, that you've used a relationship to soothe and cover up. Yeah, because a lot of times we seek the qualities in others that we've either lost or given away or don't see within ourselves. And then we want to, there's a very strong, powerful magnetic attraction there. And it's not healthy because we can't seek somebody else or try to complete ourselves through somebody else. We can see those qualities and embody those qualities within ourselves. But when we place that onto somebody else, that becomes a very codependent and unhealthy relationship. And this doesn't this is all relationships, And I know that even from experience, the energy, especially right now. How's that spelled? Hadarian. Hadarian. I'm curious too. Never heard of it before. This last week for me personally, I could feel the unhealthiness in me, the energy, the intensity, and even with like sisters, like people like I'm very comfortable with and around, there is a tension that I felt in me, in the energy. I'm not saying that it actually wasn't my sister, but just giving examples of like the closeness or non-closeness. I could feel my need to be in a good light for everybody last week. Meaning like, I know I have intense energy at times. If I'm moody, I really don't want to project that onto anybody or like share that with anybody. But I mean, I do have to still live life and try to, pull it together. Yet this was different. And I think that there's probably many of us that struggle or have been releasing codependency patterns throughout the last couple of years, maybe even since 2012. And this is just a deeper layer of that because there's so many layers to each and every thing that we are releasing and letting go of. So the energetics again are intensified, and it's intensified, and Pluto's bringing us deeper into those parts of ourselves and maybe even those wounded child parts within us. Basically, yeah, and that would make sense also with Chiron going retrograde. Now, when Chiron goes retrograde, I feel that we're going to get a lot more awareness. And it's interesting because Mercury's going retrograde too, a lot more insight and awareness. But it's really important to have that slow down and not jump to conclusions. And even when you have your aha moments, there might be more. So take the wisdom, but also be willing to let things go and know that there's most likely more to understand within ourselves. It's a interesting time to be alive, for sure. We have multiple lives in our shadow space, yes. Multiple facets, multiple parts, however you want to say it. And they are all operating simultaneously in some way, shape, or form. If not through me, then through you. This is how we are all connected too. If you think of, I wish I had that. It's buried away somewhere. I have these different sacred geometry shaped crystals, and I don't have any in front of me, but no, that's not a good example. Okay, we'll take this for example. Each and every one of us holds at least a part of every single facet and side of this crystal. Yep. And one of us might be shining apart now while the others is lying dormant. Yet this is all one full piece. This is all one. Multiple parts, multiple facets, multiple fragments, not fragments. That's a different story. I I'd say, thanks. I'd say you might just be, I'd pronounce it the way it's written. Hadarian or Hey Darian. Alrighty. That's a good one. Thank you for the humor. Because that's a good way to end it. This is it's got a fancy name, and I have a tag somewhere. Oh wait. It's not quartz. Oh, you asking about the crystal? I might be able to find it. Maybe, maybe not. No. But these are very powerful. I have 2 of them, and they were kind of rare. This crystal shop near me, actually they're still open. But back when I got really into crystals, they were way cheaper than they are now. And as you can tell, I got so pulled down the rabbit hole with crystals that I I wrote down everything I could about every crystal I have, but did I retain that information in my brain? Nope. And I moved on to something else. Oh, I can't find it. Oh well, sorry. I don't remember what they're called. But that's what I have for us all. Thank you guys for joining, tuning in. The one is a little bit kind of grayish. And then this one is not. This one is pretty pure. And they have you can tell they were cut. It's almost like, it looks like they were cut off looks like a sea creature. Oh, you're welcome, Karen. Thank you guys all for tuning in, joining in, being part of this energy and energy exchange. We are all in this together. We're all doing a great job. It is not easy. It is not always pleasant. When those times open up to enjoy something pleasant, like a sunset or a sunrise or just a moment, like taking your breath, you can feel the amazing energy there too. It's only when the mind is really still stuck on whatever has been challenging us that is harder. But sometimes these supportive energies will really snap us out of that too, because that's also a beautiful thing. Tapping into the heart, connecting to these beautiful cosmic rays that are coming onto the planet full force. There's a lot of plasma, a lot of protons, a lot of energy coming onto the planet constantly. There's a pulse, and I feel it. You guys feel it. We're in it together. Sending you all so much love, and take care. Have a great weekend, and I'll be back. Take care. Love you. Bye.